We're here with the WPU Coaches Show. I am Drew Mason here with men's lacrosse head coach Luke Christiansen. You guys are heading to the national tournament, so let's get in some questions heading into that.
Sounds good.
All right, so earlier this year, you said that this team could possibly be the best team you've had. You said they had a lot of fight and resiliency that some others didn't. How have you seen that come into fruition over the last 2 months?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is that we won the regular season and the conference tournament championship. So that was the first. And so now, this group has cemented itself as the first to do it. And any group that comes along after, can only match that as far as conference success. And, I think now the opportunity is to further cement, the legacy of what this team can be, and be the first team to win at nationals, and be the first team to win a semifinal, and be the first team to win a national championship. And all those things are on the table right now.
Absolutely, Coach. So William Penn and Kaiser are the two highest scoring teams in the nation going into this tournament. What will it take to slow them down and also slow them down while scoring yourself?
Yeah, that's going to be the big challenge. Their offense is very, very good, just like ours. There's a lot of comparables, to both teams. Really good offenses, good face-off play, stingy defenses. And so it's really going to be about possession. Who values possession the most, who wins the face-off battle, who wins the ride and clear battle. And so a lot of it's going to come down to possessions and just making sure that we get enough shots and get the right shots. I have no question that we can score against this team. It's just going to be a matter of are we valuing and executing offensively, to the level we know we're capable of. And if we do that, we're going to have a really good day offensively. Defensively, I think we match up well. Yes, it's a really, really good offense where they have some things that nobody else in the league has offensively, but we have some things defensively that nobody else has. We've showed really well against them the last 2 times we played them. We've kept them, I think it was 13 goals and 10 goals respectively the 2 times we played them. And the last time we stepped foot on a field with them, we lost in overtime in a game that we should have won. There was a blown call at the end in overtime, where we should have had an opportunity to win it. And now it's the time for the guys to go, get that little bit of revenge for that.
Absolutely, Coach. That's awesome to hear. And then, so you just kind of mentioned this, that you guys match up really well with this team, you think offensively and defensively, but due to the rankings, you guys are the quote-unquote underdog in this game. What does that mean to a team like yours?
Yeah, I think it allows you to play loose. It allows you to play loose. There's nothing to lose. Literally nobody, outside of our locker room is going to be expecting us to win. But I like it. I like the matchup. We've historically played well against them. And so now it's just it's house money. We get to go to nationals and we get to go make some noise. And, the opportunity to be the first team ever in, within NAI lacrosse history, or the first 8 seed to ever go win at nationals, that's a cool opportunity. And we're not an 8 seed team. Last year we were the 5th seed, and I think we're a little bit better prepared to play at the national tournament this year. And so we're not an 8 seed type of team, and so that's where it's exciting of, hey, we are the 8 seed, you're gonna get some luxuries of being overlooked potentially there. We get the benefit of playing at 9 a.m., so it's not gonna be super hot for our, Midwest and, Northern guys. And so that should help out a little bit too. So I'm excited for the matchup, and there's no, I don't think there's any type of underdog, mentality within our group.
That's awesome to hear, Coach. Playing with house money is the best way to play a game. So getting the title sweep for the first time in your team's history, and then winning you're on a 9-game winning streak as well. How confident are you in this team right now going into the tournament?
Yeah, I think we're playing our best lacrosse right now, and we're just going to kind of roll with it. Early in the season, we had some key injuries that, proved costly in our 3 losses. But now we're healthy. We have everybody back. We're starting to play our best lacrosse. Down the stretch, we saw our best defensive performances. And, that's really, really important going into nationals, to have the defense and goalie play clicking. Whereas, there was, our defense, was kind of getting its legs underneath itself earlier on in the season, while the offense was clicking already. So we just need to put a full game together now. And, I think we're, peaking at the right time.
Absolutely, Coach. That's awesome to hear. I'm excited to see what you guys do. So we like to end our interviews on the Coaches Show with more of a fun, personal question for you guys. Ours today is just going to be, what are you guys looking forward to heading into the NAI National Championship Tournament?
You know, it's so going into nationals, you know, now this is our second year in a row going. I think just going with the familiarity is what's exciting to me, of that there's not a lot of unknowns now. You know, all the upperclassmen, they've been there. We're literally in the same hotel, practicing at the same place. You know, so there'll be the familiarity there with kind of how to get ready, how to prepare for it. So I think just having that is what I'm excited for. Of last year, you know, I think both myself, the team, like everybody was feeling it out a little bit. Whereas now we know how to approach it. We know what to expect going into it. And, you know, so just being able to focus on the game a little bit more than feeling out all the logistical side of things.
Absolutely, Coach. I really appreciate your time. That is William Penn's men lacrosse coach, Luke Christiansen. Really appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
No problem. We are here with Coach V, the head track and field coach here at William Penn. So, Coach, just to start things out with this interview, could you recap last week as you guys competed in the Hart Championship meet? Could you start with the women's and then follow with the men's?
Yeah, for sure. Our women's, definitely, it was a very big improvement from indoor. We had, like I said, we had quite a few injuries indoors, and so it was definitely, it was just a strain, and it was unfortunate how that all played out. But our women really took the rehab seriously and making sure that the bodies were right, and Coach Z did a really great job with that sprint side of really making sure that they were ready for the championships. Resting when we needed to rest them, just adjusting practices when we needed to. So they definitely had some really big performances when it came to the meet. And then getting that 4x1 women's record was just kind of the icing on top. We didn't even realize we broke it until like we were sitting there thinking about it, like, wait, hold on. Like we went and looked, and it was nice for some of our seniors that are leaving to kind of get that cherry on top, and then some of our returners that are coming back next year to have something to really look forward to going into next year with some of the potential freshmen and transfers that are coming in as well. Our men's side, it was a little disappointing, but we kind of knew it was going to be a little harder. One, we're not as like big or deep as some of the other teams, but two, it's like we lost a few athletes that were some pretty big point scorers for us. We had quite a few injuries kind of leading into the conference meet. And so they genuinely went out there and did the best they possibly could and still put up some really great performances. And so it was really nice to be able to see them come through together and just really hold each other up when they were struggling. But yeah, they definitely were ones that, like, since I've gotten here, we're not used to not making top three. So that one was a little bit of a kick in the guts. But I think for our returners next year, they're just excited to come back even stronger. So they're very, very, they're still feeling some sort of way. But at the same time, they're like, hey, it is what it is. We just got to get back on the grind and go into next year.
Absolutely. So kind of following with that men's, you said it was a little disappointing. There was a highlight, and it was Xavier West. He was named the field athlete of the meet. Can you just highlight that a little bit for us?
Yeah, for sure. It was great for Wes to get that recognition. He's been having a phenomenal year. Like we had our awards for our team awards, and he was one of our breakthrough athletes of the year. And he was one that genuinely has worked hard this summer, and it really paid off going into this year. And especially starting to find some of his cues. Funny enough, he actually forgot one of his throw shoes back at the school. Luckily, he has a bunch of pairs, so he actually had to go with a faster shoe that he's not used to. Actually ended up playing into his advantage because he finally sped up in that hammer throw, and so he had a really big throw out there on the very last toss for the hammer. Also, they started doing the clap for him. I told him we might just need to keep doing that for every throw at this point because it's working very well for you. But yeah, no, he went out and won the hammer by a very large amount. And then his second event in the discus, he kind of did the same thing last throw, decided to do the clap, and just it really got out there, and it was a massive PR for him in the disc. And he ended up getting third there. And then shot put, I think he was a little energy drained from like all the excitement the first day for hammer, and then right before it was discus. So he still threw really well. He ended up getting sixth, but there were some misses in his form and technical cues. But we were just really proud of his performance because he's genuinely one that has come through time and time again at every meet, especially the conference championship meets. And so we're hoping that going into this weekend for last chance meets, he has a couple of chances to go potentially qualify in another event other than the hammer. But he seeded really well in the hammer. He's seeded 5th right now, so that's very exciting going in.
Absolutely, Coach. So you kind of led me into my next question perfectly.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it works out well.
I do that everywhere.
So there's a couple last chance meets approaching this weekend. What are you hoping to get out of your team as Nationals is coming up fairly quickly?
Yeah, so this is the last weekend we can try to go qualify. So we're splitting in a few different ways. So our distance squad is actually going up to St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. And so we're trying to qualify our 4x8 there, and also one of our steeplers as well. And so having them go up there, there's going to be some very fierce competition up there. And then we also want to make sure some of our seniors get back for graduation on Saturday. And then on the other side, where the other half, like the sprints and jumps and throws, is actually going to Concordia, Nebraska. And so we're trying to qualify the 4x1. We're trying to qualify some long jump, triple jump, and hammer throwers, and the shot putter as well. And so we're going to try to get that way. And then if for some reason it doesn't go our way, we do have Nebraska Kearney the next day. I'm hoping we don't need it. I would love to come back and be here for my senior's graduation, but I already warned everybody that I might not be back just to be ready for that. But we got quite a few that are still trying to qualify because we want to bring that big crew. It's just standards this year have skyrocketed. So it is a lot harder to get in because like even our B standards right now, they're technically A standards because they're in the top 20 in the nation. So it's just showing you how great the NAI is becoming in track and field, and it's fun to be a part of. At the same time, it's a little irritating because we're like, oh crap, we have to go get this now. So it's putting some pressure on the boys coming through, but I'm hoping that they step up this weekend for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, kind of leading me into my next question here. This is our last one. No, it works perfectly. So you have some athletes that are in positions to be on the podium at this point at Nationals. What is it going to take for them to reach these goals?
They just got to execute and compete. That's the biggest thing because like a few of them are returning All-Americans. But like I said, people are still going through some injuries and stuff, so they're having to deal with that even where they're sitting. At the same time, some are going to be brand new to even that national meet. And so it's just honestly going in there, treating it like we've been treating it all season, executing and making sure that we're staying calm, cool, and collected and just doing what we need to do. Not going out there trying to race the person, just trying to execute every position coming through or making sure you're hitting every spot in the ring or on that runway, whatever it might be. They just need to make sure that they go and do what they've been doing all season and come through when it matters most, which is that last meet of the season. And I am praying it is nice weather in Indiana because you never know in the Midwest. We're very fortunate for this weekend. It's going to be pretty nice in Nebraska and Illinois. I haven't looked too far ahead. I'm a little nervous to look that far ahead and see what that looks like. But
yeah, no, I'm a Northern Indiana guy, so.
Hey, ours do really well in bad weather, so we might be cool. The southern schools might be a little harder for them, but if it's super hot, it's going to be a little harder for us because we're not used to that all season. So, no, we're very excited about that.
I appreciate your time, Coach. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
And we are here with the William Penn head softball coach, Coach Laura North. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with just an easy question for you. Could you just recap the run you guys had to get into the conference tournament and how that went?
Yeah, so, we started off strong in our conference and we were playing really well. Swept a couple of teams and we're playing good softball. And then we hit some adversity there mid-season, had some major injuries with had some minor injuries with some major players, I guess, and weren't winning some games that we were expecting to win, and so we kind of put ourselves in a tough spot going into the second half of the conference season, so put a lot of pressure on ourselves. But then we got healthy and, really had a couple of team meetings, just kind of, resetting where we were at in terms of our commitment and what our focus was on and everything. And the girls really kind of reset and recommitted themselves and made some adjustments. And then, we came out and split with Clark, and Clark, maybe, people were expecting us to sweep that game, but Clark's a really quality team, and that was kind of the start of us playing really good softball. And then, we went on a run where we were splitting with, some of the top teams and, played really good softball. And then our last home game, it was an awesome weekend, being senior weekend. It was a beautiful weekend and beautiful day. And, going into the Mid-Am Nazarene game, knowing that, we really needed one to guarantee. There was some other things that had to happen, and but we were still kind of on that bubble, and knew that we really wanted to have the 7 seed. And I know in other conferences maybe the 7 seed isn't as glamorous, but for us, we knew that those top 7 teams, us included in that, were really could make a run in the tournament. And so sweeping Mid-Am put us in that 7 seed to avoid Central Methodist, because Central Methodist was not a good matchup with us. They had 6 lefties at the top of their lineup, and our pitchers just, for whatever reason, struggle with those lefties a little bit. So really exciting weekend, and sweeping Mid-Am was exciting for us. It was a perfect day, and our team came out to play and played with a lot of passion and fight, and so yeah, it was exciting to meet some of those goals that we had set for ourselves late in the season, because sometimes you can just kind of let things unfold, and we really kind of took control of our own fate, and that was good to see, to be able to go out and get those 2 wins.
Absolutely. So going off that run, let's jump into the conference tournament. How was that experience for you guys and your team as a whole?
Well, it was a good learning experience. I was talking to my assistant Katie before the tournament, and I said, we really have 2 players on our team that have any postseason playing experience. Chelsea Huff was a freshman the last time they'd made conference tournament and played. There was a couple other girls that were on the team but hadn't played, and so Chelsea was really the only, she was the only, William Penn softball player that had any playing experience in the postseason. And then Maddie Anderson had some postseason experience when she was at Indian Hills, and took them deep into the national tournament. And so good that 2 of our pitchers, our 2 starting pitchers, had that experience. But it was definitely a concern of mine, knowing that even though you're still playing your conference teams, it's that tournament is just a different. It's just a different environment, and the pressure is different. And even though the game is the same, the environment and the stress and the pressure, and just the setup, you're playing doubleheaders all season, and then it's like you go in and it's, it's one game and different opponent. So it was definitely a concern of mine, but we tried to just take it as, this is one step forward for our program. And it was a good experience. The girls kind of admitted that, we were a little overwhelmed with how things were, even though we prepared for it and gave them the right messages and everything. But it was valuable for all of our returners, and we are a young team. Except for our pitching staff, we are a young team, and so very valuable to get to the conference tournament and just kind of see how that tournament is run, and the environment, and just feeling the pressure of going out and being a postseason team now. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Coach, on the conference
Thank
championship.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
We have been hearing this word Mudita, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yep.
First, can you explain what it means, and then what it's meant for your team's culture?
Yeah. So Mudita means just a genuine love and excitement for others' success. And when I became the softball coach here at William Penn, we had a lot of work to do in terms of culture and kind of that team chemistry. And I think, working in athletics, how important that chemistry is. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have team chemistry and you're not playing for each other and playing for William Penn and the goals that we have, then you may not have some success. And I know coming in that we're not going to have the most talented team in our conference. We're up against some really big giants, and so it's really important for me to establish a culture that focused on just our internal goals, being goal oriented, and really those relationships with one another. I wanted our girls to have a healthy relationship with the game of softball, but also a healthy relationship with their coaches, with their teammates, with their athletic training, with everybody on campus. But it starts from within, and so we worked all year just on truly embracing that Mudita concept, and whether it was it's small things and it's big things, and it's not just having that genuine joy and excitement for someone that's struggling to and gets a hit. It's feeling that for your starting pitcher. It's feeling that for someone who plays every single game. It's feeling that for your coaches. It's feeling that for the pinch runner who is always the same pinch runner, but she did her job and came in and scored the run. So it's in the little things, it's in the big things. It's really all encompassing. And so it took a while to really implement that and for them to genuinely feel that. But I'm really proud of the girls because we can implement as much and bring all these ideas into your program, but they're the ones that have to live it and have to really embrace that and have that buy-in. And they really did, and they took it and ran with it. And so I think it just makes our team really fun to watch. I think that it engages our fans and our families, and I know our families love it because they know that whether they're the bullpen catcher or they are the pinch runner or they have a pinch hit, that everybody, when that athlete has the opportunity or whatever their role is on the team, that they're valued. And as a parent and even as a coach, like that's really, really important. To our girls, and so every day that they show up, whether they get on the field or not, they know their value and they know that people are going to celebrate them, and I think we felt that on Senior Day. We have girls that, we've got some big players that start every game for us that were seniors, but we've got girls that weren't even dressing varsity, but that Mudita is still there. We still have those relationships, and we're so genuinely happy for them and their journey, whether it's starting a business or continuing on at grad school. And so it's really driven us this year, and I think a big part of our success is because of that. And it's just fun. You see somebody get hit by a pitch and our dugout's going crazy because they got on base. Those are one of our our goals, is just try to get on base, or somebody comes in and gets a pinch hit, and just really anything, and so it's just a really good environment to be around. And coming and knowing that every day when you show up to practice and you show up to a game, that you have a place on this team, you belong, you're going to feel loved, and people are going to celebrate you.
Absolutely. It's definitely noticed from the outside looking into that everybody's supporting everybody in that dugout. So
Yeah.
kind of bouncing off that, you said you guys have kind of set the culture. You've seen success this year. How does that prepare you guys for the future and set you guys up for the future as well?
Yeah, well, I think that now we have our established culture and we have our expectations. And it's not just, it's becoming contagious on campus too. We've got some professors that want to be a part of it. Amy Andreessen came in and talked to our team because she feels that too. She's got something to say to them, and came in and gave them a motivational, chat when we were struggling. And it's a different perspective from the things that she wants to help. Jen Peterson has come in and talked to our team, and that empowerment that they want, and that those well wishes that they want for our team. And so but yeah, we've established this culture, and our returners know that, and that's just your standards and your expectations are the things that you do every single day. It's how you get up in the morning, it's how you sit in class, it's how you communicate with others, it's how you treat others, and that's really the expectations that we have in everything that we do. And so having that rock solid culture and those expectations coming into next year and with all of our returners, just make things move a lot faster and get the buy-in a lot faster. And so we had a lot of transfers this year, we had a lot of new people, but our foundation is set now, and I think that they have big goals. I think it was one step forward making it to the conference tournament, and now we wanted to take another step, and whether that's winning a game at the conference tournament or whatever that is, I think it's just always one step forward, but also just those internal successes that maybe not everyone else sees. We've got some mental health issues that we deal with internally, and those successes. And Emily Winkler told her story this week, and there's a lot of those things internally. That not just on the softball team, but on other teams that people are struggling with, and we're having success internally in our own private moments as well, and academically, just getting girls that are struggling to now being 4.0 students, you know, and just that mentorship, not with just the coaches, but with you know, our fellow athletes, you know, our student athletes they're mentoring each other, you know, and without me even saying, you know, yeah, you need to go help this girl. And it's freshmen helping freshmen, it's freshmen helping sophomores, it's seniors helping freshmen, all around, you know. If somebody's struggling with a class, they're helping. Hey, let's go study together. And that's not prompted by me, that's prompted by our student athletes, because this is our standard, this is what we're supposed to do, this is how we're gonna function on the softball team. And I know, like, across campus, you know, we took this very seriously this year, is to be the gold standard. And so when professors see a softball player sitting in class, they know that the expectation is that they're going to sit there and they're going to show up every class. They're going to be sitting in the front row. They're going to be respectful. They're not going to have late assignments, and we want that. We want to be held to that standard. And you know, some people see that as pressure, but pressure is a privilege for us. And it makes the environment that we have and the culture that we have on our team, when you don't have to, you know, worry about the other stuff, you can focus on practicing, you can focus on winning games, and focus on the important things when you're not having to worry about attendance and, you know, failing classes, and that takes care of itself with your culture. And so we can just go out and have the freedom to show up on game day and play, because, you know, we can kind of set class and the assignments into the back of our mind because we prepared ahead of time. So it all leads to something, and so having those standards and expectations is really important, and living those things every single day.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Coach. It's awesome to hear about all the positive stuff going on in your program. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you bet.